Hello everyone, in this video I want to share my knowledge. I want to recommend you system for white against Grunfeld Defense. G4, knight f6, c4, g6, knight to c3, d5. And here I think that white has to avoid complicated variations and goes for old but very solid, very logical approach. Knight to f3, bishop g5. So very logical to develop inner pieces, then to knight f3, then bishop g5, and of course to attack this d5 square. So the idea behind of this move to take on f6 and then to take on d5. And for black it is very difficult to find any alternatives to the move knight e4. In case of c6 we have s3, and after this we have a very good version of Slav defense, Schlechter variation, because in Schlechter variation the same position with bishop c1 it is also okay, and white has some a lot of options how to get a small advantage, but with bishop on g5 white has a clear opening advantage. Okay, c6 it is very passive. D takes c4. After e3, c5, bishop c4, short castle, queen e2. Again, white has a very comfortable game. White has a advantage in development and good chances to improve the position. Okay, for example, like this, and finally, okay, white won this game. Okay, knight e4, c takes d5, very important. There are other alternatives nowadays. Very popular is bishop to e4, but it is too complicated, and I think that it is better to start with c takes d5. Maybe in the future, when you improve 300 ratings of ELO or get an international master norm, you can study bishop f4 or maybe bishop h4 or combine these three options. But from the beginning, it is better to start with c takes d5. C takes d5, knight takes g5 is very logical, knight takes g5, and now e6. This is the main option, and I think that if you want to play this setup with white pieces, you have to focus on the position which arises after knight f3, e takes d5, e3, and short castle. Okay, there is nothing, but also in this I want to show you another option, c6. Very interesting option for black, but I think it is not dangerous for white. First, I thought that it's quite unpleasant. Okay, maybe this, but I think that it is much more complicated for black to play this move, because white has a lot of options. First of all, white can just play e3 and then queen f3. Of course, there is nothing wrong with just simple knight f3. This is also playable position. This is not very bad position. And bishop on g7 is restricted with this pawn. White has a typical plan here. Rook c1, a3, knight e4, knight c5, then b4, queen b3, or maybe e3 before queen b3. Playable position. I think that okay. Objectively speaking, it's a equal position. Of course, black has bishop pair, but for Grunfeld players, it is quite unpleasant, because Grunfeld players like to play dynamic chess, but this is not dynamic chess. This is a very boring position, and I think that it is also playable for white. Okay, but also very interesting is queen f3, and I want to show you this idea. Queen f3, double attack, pawn f7 and pawn d5, f6 is the only reasonable option, bishop b5 check, knight to h3, e6, short castle, knight e4, of course, to improve this knight, a6, bishop a4, and again, according to computer, the evaluation is, the position is equal, 0-0. But I think that it is more comfortable for white to play this, because, okay, black has a bishop pair, but the position is closed. Also, there are a lot of weaknesses, f6, e6, the pawn structure, the bishop is passive, and for example, in this game, very logical, rook c1, rook d1, very simple to play, b5, bishop to b3, king to h8, and now just queen g3, king h8 is not bad move, quite logical, solid option, but after queen g3, queen g3 is a tactical idea to take on g6, queen e7, e4, black is already in trouble, even according to modern engine. And of course, I want to talk about the principal option, d takes e6, knight takes e6, and now in this position, again, white has a choice, and this is very good for us. This is very good for us to play opening setup in which we have a choice after every move, and it is very complicated for our opponents because if you want to play very good, you have to know a lot of variations, you have to remember. But for us, we don't need, we just want to, for example, focus on d5, yeah, or maybe e3, only one move. But okay, but in this video I want to show you what is the idea. After d5, queen e5. The idea is to take on now d takes e5, doesn't work because of this use, and after queen d2, the queen is very logical continuation to protect this knight. Short castle, d takes e6, rook to d8. Okay, yes, it is simple, but okay, but what about e3 now, once again? It is very bad move, or maybe e4, it looks very natural. And again, if you play this with black, you have to know what to do against this. But okay, d takes e4, what is the idea? Queen to c1, b takes e6, and this is a very nice position. I agree with computer that but okay, but for human it is not so easy. Again, it is not so easy because once again e4 in the main option, but the idea that after g3, rook to b8 and bishop g2 and rook b2 and queen b2 check and double attack, and but after this white's position is collapsing because black retreat the piece, and now black has a very strong bishop pair and one pawn more. This is very unpleasant. This is the main idea, but okay, but the main line is this: bishop c4, rook b2, bishop f7, king f8, and after this bishop c3, and according to computer this is a equal position. This is a draw after bishop e6, h6. Okay, but I think that this is a very forced line, typical for modern engine. But again, for both sides it's very complicated, and especially for black. If you play this setup c6 with black, you have to remember this line. But if we play this for white, we don't need to remember this. Okay, in this video I show you that there is this line, but and also very good news for white side that after knight c, not only d5 is not only option, e3 is also very interesting. e5 is the main move, d5, queen g5, d takes e6, short castle, and now h4. h4, the main move here, and now again, very important, only queen d8 gives black equal position. But even this equal position is playable. It's not immediate draw. We can just take, and then we have some options here. I think bishop b5, yes, maybe take, and then bishop d5. This is very interesting, this trap, very nice, but also playable position after bishop c4 and this king e2. Why not? Why not to play this? It's not immediate draw. There are a lot of games in database after queen e7. Many strong players prefer this move, but this is a very unpleasant position. And for example, I want to show you the game of Oleg Romanishin. He is a very strong dynamic chess player, and even such strong player after queen b7 it was played in the game of Oleg Romanishin, and black is in trouble, and according to computer this is a losing position for black. So okay, I think that c6. And now a few words about the main line. Yeah, bishop before immediate is maybe the strongest continuation, more correct, but okay, but there is nothing wrong with bishop e2 and bishop d3. All this is possible. Yeah, but I want to show you this is a legendary game of Emanuel Lasker. It was the game of Emanuel Lasker against Mikhail Botvinnik. Very complicated position. I strongly recommend you to study this game more deeply. Okay, but this is very important that in this setup before sometimes you have to be very careful with this, because it depends where this knight. If the knight is on b6, maybe before is not a good option. So, and now I want to show you briefly another. Another interesting game. Yeah, it was a very old game, was played in the Soviet Union Championship many years ago, and very interesting to study. Yeah, maybe the pawn on c6 is weak. The pawn, okay, white has a fantastic pawn structure, but bishop pair, I think it's enough for equality. Yeah, and the game ended in a draw. Okay, another game I want to show you. Okay, maybe. So, okay, this is a basic position. You have to study this position if you want to. If you want to play more successfully in the middle game, you have to focus on this position to study instructive games. There are a lot of games of Tigran Petrosyan, for example. Maybe there are some games of Anatoly Karpov, and you have to improve. You have to study this game, and if you it will help you to get a good advantage in the middle game in the future, and to fight successfully against Grunfeld Defense.